So today I want to talk about crochet hooks. I'm going to do a few videos about like the very basics of crochet. This is going to be stuff that you're going to want to know before you even go to the store. Because if you're like me, like before I learned how to crochet, I wanted to a few times. And I would go into a store and there are so many options and there are just so many things. And if you don't know what you're looking for, it's extremely overwhelming. So I'm going to do a few videos just like on specific things like yarn, like picking the best yarn for a beginner, the best hooks, stuff like that. So today we're going to talk about hooks. I have a lot of hooks. Like here, I'll put them all up. I have a lot of hooks. I have some from my mom and some from my grandma's and a lot that I bought. So I have experience in different kind of hooks. So different kinds of hooks. So, we're going to talk about them. The most common type of hook is like just this long metal. This is a boy, I never know how to say it, but whatever. Typical traditional hook. There's also plastic hooks, which not my favorite. Yeah, so, and then there's hooks with different handles. There's hooks that light up, there's hooks with like clay handles, silicone handles, bamboo handles. We're going to talk about them all. Okay, so the first thing that you might notice when you go into a store is there are different sizes on all of the hooks. Now, a lot of them, like this one, and it's probably backwards in the camera, isn't it? This is an N or a 9. So, they go by both. They correspond, and some hooks will have the letters, some will have the number, some will have both. It just depends. I prefer the numbers. I don't really pay that much attention to the letters, so sorry. Can't help you there. So, for a beginner, I would stress that you do not get wrapped up in the size. Don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal until you're doing more intricate things, and especially things in the round, you might need to change hook sizes. Stuff that you are not going to be dealing with as a beginner. As a beginner, ooh, you hear that rain? What I want you to focus on is the fact that as you make a stitch, the size of your hook is going to determine the size of the stitch. And if you're a beginner, you're going to want a bigger hook to make a bigger stitch so that you have better visualization of where you need to put your hook. And if you haven't done any crocheting at all, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it'll make sense later. Okay, I started to learn on a 5.5, and that is just because that is what I had. I'll show you here. This is a traditional 5.5 hook. This one happens to have a bamboo handle, and it's one of my favorite hooks. I really enjoy this one. 5.5 would not be bad for a beginner. However, well, I guess I am suggesting. I would suggest a 6.5. Looks like that. It's a little bit bigger, and it's just going to give you a little bit better visualization. I cannot talk. Of where exactly you need to put your hook. When I learned on the 5.5, I also learned wrong, and I was only doing it in the back loops. So I didn't have. It's easy to get in the back loop. It's harder to get in the whole stitch. Yeah. So 6.5 or higher would be, about a 6.5 is where I would suggest. Anything higher and you're going to have to start getting into chunkier yarn, which I think it's better to learn on normal, medium, for worsted weight yarn. That's a mouthful. If you are someone who has some fine motor skill issues or you're teaching a child, something bigger and chunkier yarn is probably going to be easier. So this is like a size 9. You can see that. Here's the 6.5. And then this is the 5.5. Okay. So pretty decent difference. But yeah, again, with the 9, you're going to want a thicker, chunkier yarn, which I'm going to talk about yarns in another video. But for an adult, I would say 6.5, 5.5 is good. Okay. So, now that we talked about that, let's talk about, there are 2 different types of hooks. There are as the hooks I just showed you, this is a traditional hook. It's got a slightly pointed top and a slightly pointed hook, and then a gradual incline. Now I forget the name. I think they're called inline hooks. I don't use them very often. This is an inline hook. As you can see, it's a little bit pointier at the top, and then the hook is extremely pointy, and the inline is very sharp. Let's see if you can see the difference there, and then on the top there. I have a few of these, and apparently I've lost them. Oh, there. I do not like these. The inline, that is. For some reason, I can never catch my yarn very well, and I split my yarn a lot with these. Some people love these, and they use these exclusively, especially these Susan Bates with the bamboo handle. They're great, and they're made really well. I just cannot use them. So I would suggest getting a traditional hook. So you have to be careful, well, not be careful, but you have to pay attention to see which hook you're getting. All of the inline ones I have, I think, are Susan Bates. I don't think I still don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't think they make them. Here's another one. Yeah, Susan Bates. Yeah, they're all Susan Bates. Okay. Not saying that other companies don't make them, but I just don't have any. So, I would definitely say go with a traditional hook. Yeah, and if you're not careful, you might grab the wrong one, but you also just have to play around and see what works for you. Just because they don't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. But that's just my suggestion. Okay, so then we talked about the fact that these are like the typical. These are probably $2 to $3, just depends on where you're going. Super inexpensive, very sturdy. Yeah, they're great. If you like the, ooh, thunder. If you like the handle like this on the Susan Bates, but you don't want the inline, if you have a Hobby Lobby around, they have these now, the bamboo handle with the traditional hook. These are awesome. I really, really love them. They've held up really well too, because I was a little bit worried because they're actually really inexpensive. I think they're still only $3 maybe. Super highly recommend those. Love those to death. But my favorite crochet hooks. These are the Clover Armor. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. For Pete's sake, I should have taken them. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. I just dyed it today. Look, there's purple under there if you can see. So I keep messing with it. Anyway, sidetrack. The Clover hooks are my favorite. They come in singles, but you can also buy them in packs of the different sizes. I don't remember how many are in what. These are on the more expensive side. These are, I think they start around $6, and then they go up depending on the size of hook, I believe. I got a couple of these at Meijer, which was awesome because they were super on sale. What I love about these, though, a few things. I love how thin it is down here where your hand is. I love how flat it is where your thumb grips. And then these have a decent size or a decent amount of the hook showing through, but then it tapers into the, what do you want to call it? The handle. Like it, I'll show you what I mean. I like the taper. I have a tendency to push my hook through pretty far, so sometimes I have a tendency to hit the handle. I don't notice it on this. The first soft handle one I got was this one. This is a boy. That's driving me nuts. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These are from Walmart. They're super inexpensive. I also find that they fall apart. I had another one and the handle starts slipping off like very quickly. As you can see, this is really chunky right here, and so my yarn would hit, and yeah, I did not like that. If you want to try a soft handle one, this would be a good cheap one to see if you even like it, but I wouldn't buy another one. These are also raved about. These are the Tulip brand. This is another soft handled. I like this one better than the Bori. It feels nice in my hand, and I know it's made really well, but again, it's just too clunky for me right there. I do like this one, but I probably will not buy anymore because I want to buy all the clover hooks. So my favorite clover hook ever, this is the 4.0. This is a little tiny guy. I love this for my Sophie's Universe blankets because it makes it nice and tight and neat. But again, I would not try and learn on this one, which I kind of did, and it kind of frustrated me. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I will answer all your questions that I can. I'm going to try to post more videos more frequently, especially about crochet, because it's my passion. I really love it. So I hope to hear from you guys. Bye!